laws are made and how the laws are executed. There is also provision for fundamental human rights in the Constitution to prevent inhumane treatment of citizens by the rulers. Then we have strong institutions. Under the strong institutions, we have the arms of government. The executive. The executive arm of government at the federal level consists of the president, the vice president, and other members of the Federal Executive Council. At the state level, it is made up of the governor, deputy governor, and other members of the state executive council. The executive branch is divided into federal ministries headed by a minister appointed by the president. Still under arms of government, the legislature. The National Assembly of Nigeria has two chambers, the House of Representatives and the Senate. The Speaker of the House of Representatives presides over the House of Representatives. It has 360 members elected for a 4-year office term. The Senate is presided over by the President of Senate. It has 109 members elected also for a 4-year office term. The legislature is known as the House of Assembly at the state level. Judiciary. The judiciary functions through the various established courts. The Supreme Court is the highest court, followed by the Court of Appeal, the Federal High Courts, Magistrates, Area Courts, and Customary Courts. Through the recommendation of the National Judicial Council, the Chief Justice of Nigeria and 13 other Associate Justices are appointed by the President of Nigeria to preside over the highest courts in the land, which is the Supreme Court. This is the picture of the Nigerian legislature. Still under strong institutions, we have the armed forces. The armed forces comprising of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and other paramilitary forces such as Civil Defense Corps, Coast Guards, and so on, are used for protection and defense of citizens and also peacekeeping purposes in foreign countries. Civil society. This refers to different forms of governmental and non-governmental organizations, institutions, and groups such as trade unions, business associations, women organizations, faith-based groups, community organizations, and so on, which comprises of people of shared interests, values, and purposes. These are the pictures of some of the Nigerian forces. The trade union. This is the organization of workers established to achieve common goals of the workers, such as better working conditions. The trade union is in charge of bargaining on behalf of union members through negotiation of salaries, working rule, benefits, work safety, promotions, firing, hiring, wages, etc. with the employer. Mass media. This refers to all media technologies, including newspapers, television, radio, and internet, which are used for mass communications, and institutions which controls these technologies. The mass media influences public opinions and perception concerning series of issues. Student Union. This is the organization of students in higher institutions in the society, which signifies the unanimous voice of the students. This union helps sometimes to aid provision of amenities for students and also a building for social meetings, usually known as the Students' Union Building. Federalism, state and local governments. Federalism. This is a system of governments which constitutes of a federal and national government that has legislative powers called the federal government. The state governments. This is an institutional government that exercises legislative and executive authority at the state level, below the central government and above the local government. The local government. This is the government at the grassroots level of administration, meant for meeting the grassroots needs of the people that the federal and local governments, that the federal and state governments might not even be aware of at all. It is government of a particular section of the state. Responsibilities of a citizen. The various mandatory responsibilities of citizens are listed below. 1. Tax payments. Payment of taxes on time is a key responsibility of the citizen. It is important to pay taxes because the fund is used for amenities such as building and maintaining roads and bridges, schools, and so on. Meanwhile, the federal taxes are used to pay civil servants such as teachers, police officers, doctors, and so on. 2. Voting. It is the right of the citizens to choose their own government. Responsible citizens need to exercise the right to vote and elect their representatives. 3. Obeying laws. The laws are created to maintain peace and order in the society and to ensure that the citizens' rights are protected, and also to ensure that every offender against the law will be punished. Political participation. Citizens are to give time and attention to the regulation of the government. Voting alone is not enough, but active participation in governmental policies is important to determine whether the government is functioning right or not. That is, to check and balance the government in power, the citizens need to pay attention to political issues so as to participate their own quota in the development of their society. Joining political parties. Citizens have the right to join political parties, to campaign or even contest for elections so as to influence the running of the government. Political parties. A political party is a political organization that typically seeks to influence government policies, usually by trying to gain access to governmental power through contesting for elections. Political parties have their logos, slogan, ideology, or vision that differentiates them from other parties. Examples of political parties in Nigeria are the LP, Labour Party, KP, Kowa Party, APC, All Progressive Congress, PDP, People's Democratic Party, ANPP, All Nigerians People's Party, and so on. Free press.